Okay, continuing with average rate of change. I'm gonna include another example, hopefully a little bit easier, right? That first one was pretty intense, right? Sorry, but I just wanted to make sure that you had a really good example to see that some of these can get a little tedious, but this one should go quicker, right? The function's a little bit more easier to work with, and the interval is here. So copy this down, pause it, and then when you've copied everything, we'll continue. Okay, hopefully you copied it. Remember, here's your function and your interval. All right, we'll come back to our function right now. Here it is up here, right? Our function. But the interval is going to be, maybe you're going to want to write it in interval notation. Everybody agree this is -3 comma -1, right? Including the -3, including the -1, and all the numbers in between. Okay. So that, remember, is going to be your first x and your second x. So you write x subscript 1 and x subscript 2 on the bottom, like that. And the formula for average rate of change, right, is, which we're using the letter m is equal to, what was that formula? It was f of x of 2 minus f of x of 1 over, there's a big subtract in the middle, over just x of 2 minus x of 1. Okay. And we know that x of 1 is -3, right? You don't have to write it on the side. You can see it here. X of 1 is -3. I'm going to put a -3 there, and I'm going to put a -3 here. X of 2 is -1. I'm going to put a -1 there. So this is going to change to look like what? M is equal to f of, what is x of 2? -1 minus f of x of 1 is what? -3. Big minus in the middle. And then x of 2, I already know the number for x of 2, so that's -1. I already got that one, good. Minus, what is x of 1? -3. Okay, so honestly, we're already done in the bottom, right? X of 2 is -1, take away a -3, right? So does everybody agree that, well, we'll come back to the bottom. Well, let's clean it up. This is really going to be what? -1 plus 3, right? Does everybody agree that's really going to be -1 plus 3? I mean, let's just get the answer already, right? Let's get this to this point. Isn't it m is equal to, what is -1 plus 3? 2. The denominator, I already got it. I got the number. There's no, there's not going to be an issue here, I hope. This one, I got to find f of -1, subtract what? And then f of -3. See, I don't know these yet. I don't have these numbers yet. That's where this function comes in. That's where you got to come up over here. And now we got to copy this function over here. What is it? Put a little line right here for my side work. F of x is equal to -x squared minus 6x. And you know what? I'm going to copy it twice because I got to find one for this one. And I got to evaluate, I got to evaluate at -1 for this function, and I got to evaluate for -3. So I'm going to copy this function twice, right? Remember, the function is going to be given to you. So that's going to be f of x is equal to, let me copy it again, or I could just see it right here, right? -x squared minus 6x. Why am I copying it twice again? Because I have to find this one, which I'll do here. Find f of -1. You got to evaluate and put a -1 for x. And then I got to find this one with the same function but evaluate it at what? At -3. I don't know those numbers. See, when I find those numbers, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put the -1. I'll put the answer here for that one. And when I get the blue one, I'll put the blue answer, the number here. And then I can finish my work, and I'll finish this, and I'll figure it out. But see, right now, I'm holding on. I'm standby. I got to wait to get the numbers, and I'll plug them over here. Okay, so let's do this little side work over here. What does it mean here to evaluate for -1? Well, everywhere there's an x, you put -1. Negative. Now remember, that negative is not that negative. That's negative of -1 squared, right? X is -1. What do I square it? Minus 6 times -1. Right, everywhere there's an x, I put a -1. Okay. And don't distribute this negative. You got to square this first. -1 times -1 is +1. The answer for this part is +1, but with this negative outside, it's -1. That's the answer for that part. Minus, well, this -6 times a -1, well, that's going to be +6. So just add that up. You're going to get 6 take away 1. The answer for f of -1 is what? 6 take away 1 is 5. That's my answer for this one. So what number am I going to put here for f of -1? I'm going to put the number what? What value did we get? 5. That's the number that goes here. See, 5. Now I got to find this part, and this is where you got to do the little side work over here. I'm doing it over here. I got to get this number. When I get it, it's going to go here. All right, let's figure it out. F of -3, that means here, everywhere there's an x, I put a -3. Negative on -3 squared, right? Don't distribute this negative. Leave it out there. Minus 6 times, -3. Well, this part has to be done first. Don't distribute that. -3 times a -3 for this is a +9. But with that negative outside, it's actually really -9. And the -6 times a -3 is a +18. All right, we add that up. You get your answer for this f of -3. F of -3 gives you the answer what? 18 take away 9 is 9, right? That's your answer for this part. The f of -3 is what? The answer is 9. Right? The answer is 9. So here for -3, what number am I gonna put here? A 9. And that's when you come back. See, now I got all the pieces. Now I can finish the problem. 5 take away 9 is going to be -4 divided by 2. So the answer for this m, for the answer for my slope is what? What's -2 divided by 8? Remember, always look to reduce. -4 divided by 2 is -2. That is the average rate of change. All right, so there are several little pieces here, but all the pieces are kind of easy. Just careful with your arithmetic and know what you're doing with this problem. All right, that's it. That's how you would do that one. All right, hopefully this makes sense. Thank you.